Figures obtained by the BBC show that so-called cash for crash frauds, where a bogus road accident is used as a basis for a costly insurance claim, are being used in more and more parts of the UK.
The Insurance Fraud Bureau says the crime has now spread to the southeast and says it could be costing innocent drivers thousands of pounds. Here's our crime reporter, Ben Ando.
It would stop here now with nothing on the roundabout at all and wait till somebody approached him, and as soon as he set off, at this point he would stop and the vehicle travelling behind would not expect that, and a low impact collision would occur.
It's known as crash for cash. Fraudsters slamming on the brakes to cause a collision, then claiming on the other driver's insurance.
What these fraudsters tend to pick on were people who were single mums or elderly people, people who were less likely to cause them any issues.
And once the victim has agreed the crash was their fault, the fraudsters will launch bogus personal injury claims for themselves and often fictional additional passengers. 82-year-old Alma Gallanders and her husband Eric were driving home when they were hit by this man, Abdullah Ahmed.
He hit us on the right wing and he wound the window down and said, "You crashed into my car." And my husband and I said, "Don't be ridiculous, you ran into us."
The cars were barely dented, yet Ahmed claimed the Gallanders caused the crash and racially abused him, leading to months of stress for the elderly couple, even though in court he admitted making it all up. He was jailed for 2 years.
It was a nightmare. You didn't go to sleep, you're just so worried. And what made it even worse was we were completely innocent of everything. You know, our only crime was being on that road at that time.
Earlier this month, 2 brothers linked to Abdullah Ahmed were found guilty of masterminding a £12 million scam using their own claims recovery business in Lancashire. But crash for cash is now moving out of northern England.
Latest figures obtained by the BBC show that cash for crash is becoming a nationwide problem. Top of the list now is Birmingham in the Midlands, with the cities of Liverpool, Blackburn and Manchester in the northwest close behind. But the problem's also moving southwards, with parts of London hitting the top 10 for the first time.
Yeah, we estimate there are around about 30,000 staged, induced or contrived accidents a year, costing the insurance industry, and ultimately part of that cost is met by genuine policyholders, £350 million. We estimate around about £44 per individual policy goes to the cost of fraud.
A parliamentary review of so-called compensation culture due to report next month is expected to recommend measures aimed at tightening the rules on such claims and such fraud. Ben Ando, BBC News, Manchester.
Having a car accident, however minor, is stressful and costly, but thousands of drivers are having to go through the experience needlessly as they have been targeted by criminals trying to cash in on insurance payouts.
Joining us now, Glenn Marr, Director of the Insurance Fraud Bureau, who's identified a worrying increase in cash for crash scams. Very good morning to you. So you're a unit set up to look at these kind of frauds?
Good morning. Yes, back in 2006 the insurance industry realised that insurers trying to tackle this issue in isolation wasn't the most effective route. So they decided collective action was the most appropriate way of doing it, and the Insurance Fraud Bureau was set up to target those handling the larger types of frauds. In particular, we're looking at the organisers of the frauds. So there are individuals involved in this, there are also professionals that are assisting them, and that includes rogue elements of the accident management industry, the legal profession, doctors and motor engineers.
That is really quite an accusation you're making there, isn't it?
Yes. What we're saying there is there are a rogue element in every industry, but we are encountering them. And within the last 2 weeks, we've had a prosecution for directors of an accident management company. So unfortunately, there are rogue elements in there that are causing problems.
And we had that story there of an elderly couple with the crash situation. What sort of thing is happening routinely?
It started off as individuals staging accidents, so working together, sometimes taking vehicles off-road. They've now taken it to a more sinister route, more distasteful, where they are targeting innocent motorists, usually lone drivers, and they're causing accidents to happen. They're slamming on their brakes, perhaps putting on their handbrakes, or even disconnecting their lights, and causing the innocent driver to have a rear-end shunt. And what they're after is money associated with personal injury, and at times there can be 5 vehicles in a vehicle. It can be highly lucrative for them.
The reason this is costing us all money is because the insurance companies are paying out. So they're paying out on possibly, what do they think? That they're suspicious but they can't prove anything, so they have to pay out anyway. Is that what's happening?
If the insurance companies have evidence, and we work closely with all the major insurance companies, we take them to task, and we have 24 large-scale fraud investigations ongoing at the moment, working with 15 different police forces, targeting 6,000 fraudulent claims, and there are a number of parties that have been arrested on bail or are awaiting sentencing. So if the evidence is there, which is key, then we'll work with the insurers to tackle them. Some of these take a long time to handle, so we might be aware of the fraudster today. It might not happen until next year, but rest assured we are dealing with it.
Can I just say, we've had quite a few emails from people this morning saying that they have, when they first had, and they're suspicious, they've had something happen to them, they've been suspicious, they contact their insurer. Quite a few people are saying, insurers frankly not interested. They just want to get the claim underway, and even the people who've taken photographs of an incident, the insurer just says, well, we're paying up and we're not interested. I mean, that's a bit worrying, isn't it? Given the, I mean, you're suggesting there's a sort of unit prepared to do this work, and yet it appears they're not that interested.
Yeah, obviously I can't speak for those individual circumstances, but if you've got viewers with those circumstances, they're quite welcome to visit our website, insurancefraudbureau.org, or to call us on 0800 328 2550 and actually discuss those incidents, and we will work with the insurers. And we work with most of the main insurers in the country, and it comes down to evidence. If there's evidence there, then we can act on it.
OK, so what happens if you were involved in a crash and you suspect that this might... I mean, are there any kind of telltale signs, and what if there are, what should you do about it?
Yeah, most gut feeling. So if you've got gut feeling something's wrong, you're normally accurate. Some of these people are highly professional, so you won't realise it's happened. But the main thing is stay calm, don't get angry, take as much detail as you can about the vehicles involved, the damage involved. In particular, take details of who is in the other vehicle, including their names and addresses, and ask them for some sort of identification. What we're finding is we're having low impact, slow impact vehicle accidents happening, and we're having ghost parties appearing in cars. In other words, there are two people in the car, and we get a claim for 5.
And you've even had an incident where somebody had to have the roof removed because they said they'd been hurt.
Yeah, typically these are nothing like that. There's simple incidents where somebody gets out and then suddenly we have whiplash claims. In the last 2 weeks, we've had more than one incident whereby somebody's had a very low-speed impact, collided with the rear of a car. The driver, the injured party, has got out of their vehicle, been talking on their mobile, discussing quite freely, has then got back in their car, made phone calls, the emergency services have turned up, and the roof of their car has been cut off. Yet moments before that, they're walking, talking, and engaging with the other party.
OK. All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.